going on, Reef Builders? I'm Jake Adams. Thanks for joining me on a fun video here at the studio. I know the last couple clips we've been doing some real aquarium work, but today we're just going to do a little bit of light polishing to this tank and just kind of discuss a few things about this aquarium. So this is a 5-foot Peninsula aquarium. This is probably like the first display here at the Reef Builder studio. I think it's going on about 2.5 years old. I definitely want to start out by talking about the lights that we use on this aquarium. So these lights are actually made not too far from here in Boulder, Colorado. These are the AcroOptics LED lights, and you've seen kind of a spread and the proliferation of companies trying to talk about full aquarium coverage, but instead of covering the whole tank, they use diffusers or wide angle lenses to just shoot that light outwards. But as you can see from these lights, we have basically about 4 by 18 inches of total light output over a 5 by 24 inch tanks. So we have 2 of the 2-foot models, and I just kind of wanted to show you how easy it is to adjust the lighting here, because there's a touchscreen controller, so we have all our different channels. And because this is a stony coral tank, we don't really have to wait for the lights to come on and for the corals to open up. That's one of the things that usually kind of slows us down a little bit, is waiting for all the corals to bloom throughout the day. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set the brightness pretty high so you can see everything pretty well. But yeah, it's just uncompromising light, super bright LEDs, individual lens for each one, and the coverage end to end on this tank is really, really amazing. Just gonna go ahead and set the other one real quick. So it's got 5 channels of color control. Some of those channels have different colors on them. So there's a blue, UV, cyan, white, and a day glow channel. It is one of the, I don't know, just one of the most pragmatic, really easy, broad spectrum lights available on the market. And these have been around for a really long time. They have a super thick heat sink. This is absolutely not the light for everyone. A little bit more of a boutique aquarium light, if you will, for someone who's looking to have something a little bit different and just really have uncompromising light coverage. So I really want to give a shout out to AcroOptics, because they're kind of a craft light. They don't make that many fixtures. They probably make as many fixtures in a year as some other companies might offer in a few weeks. But that's the lights. So we went ahead and just used the touchscreen to turn them on. For this video, the main thing we're going to do is just rearrange a couple corals. So we have a bunch of corals on the ground, and this is what I call audition. So when I get new corals, I don't really know exactly what conditions that coral is really gonna start blossoming and start gonna thrive and look its best, grow its best. So everything in most of my tanks, that's why there's corals on the bottom. They start on the bottom, I move them around, kind of get a feel for where they want to go, and then once they really start blooming and blossoming and showing their true colors, then they graduate to some place on the rock where they can grow a little bit more permanently. So we deliberately left the glass uncleaned. We wipe down the tanks about twice a week, Monday and Friday. So Monday it'll carry us throughout the week, and then Friday I can enjoy them through the weekend. And this will be kind of like a light cleaning with, we talked about this on Reef Therapy. We use the mismatched magnets. So we have a mag flip here on the outside, and then a Toonsy Care magnet on the inside. So this is one of the most ergonomic external magnets. Got a nice big magnet, big grip. And then the Toonsy Care magnet, this one has been upgraded with the floating part. I forget what it's called, Toonsy Care Float. But this glass infused plastic, man, it holds a great scraping edge for about a year. And that will get us so far. But about once a month, we'll take a stronger magnet assembly and we'll get some of the tough algae. So people often ask, how often do you clean your tanks? And I just thought I'd show you that. We're gonna give this a whole tank cleaning and then kind of talk a little bit more about the corals. Another thing you'll see is this tank has a very, very healthy population of Astorina starfish. I love Astorinas, man. I love these little starfish. Very rarely will I find them on a coral, but it's usually kind of a opportunistic thing if there's like a part of a coral that's receding. And I haven't fully documented this yet or verified this yet, but they are almost like leeches where they're eating some of the necrotic tissue so it doesn't get worse. And I have seen that a few different times if there's just like a little bit of recession on a coral. So we have a very healthy population of Vastarina starfish in here. It's probably a little bit more than it has been in recent years because I have been increasing the nutrients in here. But man, Astarinas, in my opinion, they're just like a great scavenger. They're also algae eaters. And all right, enough about those starfish. I don't worry about them. I don't actively spread them throughout tanks. This is one tank where they really do some work. So we're going to give a good scrape to this tank and then talk about some of the corals that we're going to be moving around. All right, so I don't know, just took like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes to clean up all the glass and get the edges, the tough algae that grows at the bottom. We can't get as much pressure on it on a bi-weekly basis. And okay, so there's a few things we want to do in here, but the first thing we need to do is somehow figure out how to chase the purple tilefish into the rockscape, because they will undoubtedly jump out if we just take the lid off and start working in here. So I'm gonna see if I can just kind of coax one down into the rock work. All right, where are my boys at? Where are my boys at? All right, let's see what we can do. These guys are so tame. I fed them so much in the little tank that you saw under quarantine, and they just move, go hide somewhere. Go. Poof. I don't think it's gonna happen. Come on guys. Come on. Or yeah, I don't know. They're just too tame. They won't go away. We're just gonna go for broke and take the lid off and see what we can make happen. And we're here to put them back in the tank when they almost invariably jump out. All right, so I tried to chase them into the rockwork with my hand, but they're just such pet fish. Seems like turning off the flow has alerted one to go down into the rocks. So I'm gonna try to just get them down. Come on. Go down. All right, so next step, I'm gonna try to spook them with the net. I'm afraid this is gonna have the unintended consequences of getting them to jump out of the tank. But if we do it slowly, maybe they won't be spooked. They're just such pet fish. Look at that. Come on, guy. Trying to put you down. Come on, go down. There we go. Turn around. There we go. No, go the other way. Go the other way. All right, this guy. Come on, go. You were just in the net. You just got out. Go into your hidey holes. Go. There you go. Go down there. Boop. No, go down. I'm chasing you. I'm a big predator. Go hide somewhere. All right, well, that's the best I can do. They do look glorious though right now. So the first thing we need to do is I really want to put this frag of Acropora locani right there, but we have this persistent pipe organ resident right here that, man, we work at it like, I don't know, a few times a year trying to get it out. So we're gonna set up to remove some of that and clear this real estate for at least that Acropora locani. This is pretty much as simple as it sounds. We have the flow turned off. I'm gonna try to scrape away bits of the skeleton and then just kind of get it out with the net. So that looks like a good solid piece right there. And then here, the problem with the pipe organ is when you remove it, it just goes all over the freaking place. And it leads to its spread. There we go. Get off. All right, so I don't know if you've ever grown like tubipora pipe organ really well, but that thing is borderline a pest. I love the coral, I love what it stands for, what it represents, but I'm so glad to have mostly eradicated this because there's two frags I want to put up here. This is a locani, and this is a Jason Fox blue mango something or other, not super sure. So first thing we're gonna do is just grab these out. Asterina zanaro, and here you can get a better look at that frag. Just a nice deep water, thin branch, Locanai style. You see it hasn't quite encrusted onto the base of the larger tile, so it's going to be easy to pop off. Pull them out, put them over here. And then same thing with this guy. They've gotten to a point where they're graduated, and we're going to put them on the rock. Oh yeah, take a look at this one. This one's really pretty. Very neat, nice, smooth, tapering branches. Thank you, Mr. Fox. All right, so we're gonna come over here and just very slightly, while holding both the frag and the base, just kind of chip at the base right there to try to get them to pop off without, boom, perfect, look at that. So he can go over here, and then same thing with this locally grown Locanai, and boom, just like that, super easy. So we already have a nice clean base. I know I want the Locanai on top, so we're gonna put a generous dab of glue here, get it well inactivated. There's a little bunch of pods scurrying. So this guy is gonna go like right here. Make sure to get good contact with the rock. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a good spot for him. Oh, wow. Looks like he's been encrusting on that thing for a while. And then we'll do this other kind of delicate looking deep water style acro. Good contact with the base. And then we're gonna put him kind of off to the side here. Probably like so. Hopefully we can get some good contact with the rock. Oh wow, that is a perfect placement for both of those. Come around to the other side. I've got a couple anacros. I've tried really hard to get them to adapt to higher light, and I just know that the color and the growth is going to be a lot better under some reduced lighting. So I'm going to take both of these and put them, oh no, I think the Cyphaster behind it has locked itself on. There we go, so we can get this guy out. We can put him on the other side. Here. And I'm guessing that Cyphaster has held on, has grown onto this guy. Oh no, we got him. All right, perfect. Move him over here. I can reach him over there. I'll come back around. And this Anacropora might not be super awesome colored, but this is one I collected in Solomon Islands about 7 years ago. I have to reset the colony, I don't know, maybe every 6 to 9 months. So it's been reset in this tank 3 times. If I reset, it's kind of like the red dragon. Grows really, really big. And in Anacropora, it doesn't really grow at the bottom, doesn't encrust like the way an acro would. So the bottom starts to die slowly, gets a little ratty. So we just take it all down, glue it back together. So I'm gonna scoot him over just a little bit. That. Make sure not to touch my little tank spawned little piece of Bernard Pora. And I'm gonna scoot in these other 2 anacros because I know they're just gonna look so much better in this more diffused lighting that we have over here. I think I put the orange in the front and the green in the back, and it's always shedding branches, and we tend to just kind of tuck them back in here somehow. There we go, that'll do. Woo! How you doing over here? Doing all right? Yeah, he got stung by a couple things by moving around. But now we're gonna stick you back here and see how you go. All right, so now I've got a little bit more room here. So 2 corals that definitely need to move over. So this coral is called like the golden dragon. It's kind of orangey, Acropora carduus. This is a reddish carduus with the green tips, and then this one's kind of pinkish with blue and then green tips. But so these 3 are probably the same species as the red dragon acro we fragged in the last video. So I'm gonna take all 3 of those, just kind of move them to the front this section right here because I think they can handle it. But first, let me try to make some room here. So we've got a nice encrusted Walt Disney frag. I think we'll put him in a different tank. We'll move him out. He's been just sitting there kind of hanging out for a while. I do want to slow down the meteor shower. This is a Kung Pao that's just been chronically overlit. So we're gonna move him maybe down here where we can just have a little bit more shade. Hopefully that'll do something. And now we're getting some good room. Very lucky that the large blue squamosa has kind of decided to stay put. He was the one commanding all of this room right here. All right, we got the Montipora stellata. I think I'm gonna move this guy into a little bit more shade and even on top of the meteor shower because we need to slow it down somehow. Yeah, that looks all right. I think that's gonna give me enough room, and then I think we can tweak this guy backwards a little bit to make more room for the rest of the stuff that we wanna put in this section. Oh boy. Okay, so this is that very well grown out. I call it fireworks just because when it's blue light, all you really see is all those nice green tips to every coralite, but the axials are kind of blue. Really pretty coral. We're not gonna frag this guy up, although I already have some pieces in some other tanks. Very nice. Gonna give him a little bit more room to breathe somewhere like there. Maybe pointing the front a little bit more. How's that look? You guys like that? I like it. Okay. We've got this other version, which is like a golden yellow orange dragon. Under daylight, I'm sure on camera it just looks mostly brown, but this thing is a very cute light orange coloration. So we're gonna stick him, we're actually gonna kind of cover up the red encruster Monty, because I think he just wants a little bit more shade. Just gonna tuck you here. Maybe pointed backwards a little bit. All right, so another thing is in bare bottom, you wanna make sure there's not too much stuff underneath because that will keep it from growing. But yeah, lots and lots of asterinas. All right, so we're gonna put you right there. You also have a little bit more room. And finally, I think we'll take this guy and we're gonna graduate him here because that's where that other coral started and then grew really well on this spot. That looks pretty good too. All right, let's make a little bit more room here for some of this, for the nursery. Move that guy there. Now my Locani's got plenty of room. This is another kind of look. We'll move this guy here. Looks pretty good. And then, yeah, I'm liking the direction this is going. The last thing I really wanted to do was to swap these two out. So this is a very large, kind of unusual style Acropora speciosa. It took me a really long time to get it super happy and adjusted to bright light, and that's why it's actually growing so densely like a Caroliniana. So I would like to, first of all, get some of that poop out of him. I'm almost tempted to put him over here where he's actually going to get less light and grow a little bit more typically. Decisions. This is the fun part, and it's kind of hard to put this on camera. Damn, there's a lot of asterinas in here. But I'm not worried about it because every asterina is just food that's getting eaten up. You know what? I think we need a little bit more color over here. So, all right, we're gonna rejigger some things. I'm just gonna hold on to this guy. I do wanna move the Kodama Acro into a little bit more light. He was looking a little bleachy for a while. That's why I had him a little bit more shaded. So I have him there now, actually even on top of the, whatchamacallit. Actually, no, this is gonna be a good spot for him. I don't wanna go crazy. I might move him backwards a little bit more in the future, but this is gonna be good. Could move him here, where he's gonna be a little bit more shaded. just like that. Does that look good? You know what? I'm gonna go with my original plan and put them over here in less light, because I want to see those branches open up and spread out into that typical feather shape, and he'll look pretty cool next to the Suharsanoi. So we're gonna take the Locani, which is growing really well. This was a Indonesian maricultured piece that is just absolutely stunning, and it looks a lot like the solid purple, what I call Heaven's Gate over here. This is one I collected in Australia, but I've never seen a wild piece exported like that. So we're gonna put him here, and this mystery coral can tuck back here. Just play musical corals all over the place. We're gonna see how he likes a little bit more shade. And then that means I can move, oh wow, look at all those asterinas that were under that. Just like crazy. But if you look at this tank though, it's full of coral growth. So I think I'm actually gonna net these out and spread them out into some other tanks. So we're just gonna make a little pile right here. And the rows can scoot over here. Look at all those asterinas, boy. There we go. I think the rows can go right here, and then I'll give it a little bit more birth with the big blue squamosa that we have going on. Scoot him back a little bit more. Yeah, looks pretty cool. So this is all freestyle right here. You know, you never know what you're gonna move until you start. You know what? Put this guy right over here. Goodness gracious, so many asterinas. We're gonna take some out just because this is a lot. Once again, so these are frags of the speciosa right here, and you can see just how more open it is compared to the colony, because this is under lower light. So this is the highlight speciosa right here. It's getting a lot of light, a lot of flow. And this is a frag that's about 6 months old, and it's a lot more open. And this is what I want the colony to move towards here in the near future. So we're gonna move this guy to some lower light. Boop. This is another small frag of the speciosa. And if you're looking carefully, yes, I like that. It's facing the viewing a lot more. There's actually a frag of speciosa right here on the rock. It's been hanging out for a while. You know, I decided to do this video thinking to myself, just gonna move a couple corals over here, do a little swap. And as you can tell from the video, once you get started, you're like, well, what if this coral went over here? What if that coral went over there? And then I started really reconsidering a lot of the bottom placement, nothing really on top. But I feel like I've come to something I'm gonna be okay with for the next, 3 to 6 months. But before we show you the tank, I just wanna take a moment to just show off how proud I am of just this mega clean sump. If you haven't seen this tank before, I mean, check out the channel. Like, we just put up our 15-year channel trailer, because we've been putting up videos since 2006. But there's a lot of videos of this tank. And one of my favorite things about the studio is what you can't see. This tank has a calc reactor, a controllable protein skimmer, just super clean, just all this empty space. And the biggest problem I've had with this tank is battling low nutrients, right? That's probably why I had a little bit of an asterine explosion, because I've been feeding probably in the normal amount, like what you guys would feed, because I'm typically very light-handed. So we redid the sump. By redid, I mean we just put some acid in here to clean up this chamber, a little bit more to acid wash, but just so nice and neat. And then over here, we just cleaned it up super nice, put all the controllers here on the side, so when I open up the door, I can easily put stuff in feed mode. And got a controllable doser, all the power supplies are just kind of tucked away. And when you have a really nice reef tank, you just take some pride in not just your reef tank, but how it's working, right? So, Evan, if you'll hand me the camera, I'll just take him for a little bit of a tour here. So, first thing is put the little N-Acropora garden in here. I still need to put in the red TNT N-Acro in this little corner. What else? Definitely did some rejiggering of what's happening here in the middle. I took out the thick branched Kodama Acro because I feel like he wants a lot more light, so I put him in the high flow Acroporous system. I put the rose here and brought out this green Dane that I collected in Australia here, and a little bit more light, just to get a little bit more contrast from the pink to the green to the blue. This is one of those faux Tarakis that I pulled out of the other tank last week, and it's a nice tall branch, so we can just kind of get a sprout on here at the top. And there's that Speciosa that I was showing you guys. I can get a really good look at it now that it's here on this corner, and you can see the difference in growth between the frag and the colony. It should not typically in a wild be this dense, but now that I have a ton of branches and a ton of tips, it can really sprout and just give me a ton of growth. And again, that's a frag of that same coral that's just been showing here on the side of the rock. So I graduated a lot of the coral frags that were sitting here at the bottom, decided to put this pink tip or this yellow green tip dragon here in the corner, and then here's that Locani that we cleaned up, and then the funky blue mango fox coral right there that's been just, you know, that came in as just such a tiny little tip, and it just needed to audition and grow and settle in before it was ready to even like have any kind of domination of this rock. But you can see this yellow green tip dragon has got plenty of room to bush out. I ended up putting a Locani here because I can get a good look at it, and then the golden dragon and the other version of red greenish dragon, it's got a ton of room. So there's a ton of space here because this Bernard pora opened up real big and has a tendency to sting just gently anything that might cross this. You can see here with the Jedi mind trick, it's just been completely bottled in, I guess, just caged in by the Bernard pora here, the giant clam here, and essentially the shadows. But this open space here and this one right here, these are going to be reserved for some corals that I have in some of the other tanks. Those two spots are going to be reserved for a couple corals that are kind of, you know, deep water, smooth skin, naked acro style that are in another tank. But even though they're super healthy, this tank is doing so well, they're going to go through a rigorous re-quarantine or re-disinfecting procedures for a few days until I'm like super confident there's nothing that can introduce this tank, because this tank is like really rocking. You can see from the dark, rich coloration of a lot of the corals that have finally been able to get those nutrients up, mostly through coral feeding and feeding these greedy little pigs more often. It's actually quite surprising how incredibly docile they are. I really thought we were gonna put our hands in the tank and they were just gonna find a reason to jump out, because when we have the lid on here, I swear they're just using it as a reverse trampoline. They love bouncing against it or something. They kind of seem to know that there's no safety net right now because they're hanging down a lot lower than they usually do. So I know there wasn't a real purpose to this video. We didn't do something discreet besides like rejigger a bunch of corals, but I'll tell you what, man, we're gonna put together a very cinematic presentation of this coral. Huge shout out to AcroOptics. Those lights are so good. I don't think I could ever replace any other light on this tank. These things are totally rocking. Expensive, but they're really just like a light for a decade. You know, there's not something you're gonna want to even change out after a few years. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about any of the different types of corals that we worked on, or I don't know, any questions that came up while you were watching the video, go ahead and put those down in the comments below. Very excited to still be creating YouTube videos after nearly 15 years. First video came out in October 2006, and I'm just really glad that so many of you guys are along for the ride. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss another 15 years of Reef Builders videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the very next video. Bye guys.